Okay, this is Cold Vein. I'm just showing a few of my builds that I've made. Can't remember the proper term for it. I think it's cosplays. It's gonna be a little weird. I'm playing with a mixture of my mouse and my keyboard. I usually play with a controller. I have controller issues right now, so just yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and get straight to the point. Just showcasing some builds that I've made. This is heavily modded. I went through and meticulously, like I do every game, pretty much went through and just replaced everything with mods. So not everything, but you know what I mean, where applicable. So you're gonna immediately notice I have a plethora of purifier masks. This is including but not limited to like boss masks and things like that. Just for whatever my taste is at the moment for my build. There's some pretty crazy custom stuff in here, including one that makes the mask pretty much invisible. It's pretty important too for cosplaying and stuff. So let's go straight to the appearances here. So first up, excuse me. First up for my builds here is Alucard. Made this from scratch. You're gonna immediately notice art wise, or rather artistically, it should stand out from everything else. One of the major things that stand out with this build is probably you can see it at this res, his face. You'll notice his smile, the way his smile is designed, his glasses, his whole color scheme, even his neckties is custom made. There's a lot going on here that you can't simply find on the internet. Here's my secondary build. This is basically his unlocked or his his phase 2 version of the character from the anime. It's basically when he gets like a massive eyeball on his chest and he pretty much kills you with a hellhound. It's pretty nuts in the anime, but this is what he looks like. And this is the this is another build I prefer. You gotta keep in mind I play through the game with these cosplays here, so I'm very very specific. So next up is Sirius Victoria. It's custom made again. If you look closely at her face, it's just there's a lot going on here, detail wise. Keep in mind this is heavily modded. Sorry, I have to zoom out there. This is heavily modded, but at the same time, it's I don't have anything to like increase the amount of accessories or face paints and stuff like that. So it's pretty vanilla too. So with that being said, here's Sirius Victoria. This is her and her default or her base form, and then of course I made an alternate form, which is pretty much her as a vampire. And she just it just her skin just goes pale. Her clothing turns red. She's a little more messy looking. But yeah, this is my Sirius V2. Of course, I have Hellsing characters in here. I have to have Father Alexander from Hellsing. He's the crazy priest, the nut job who's crazy enough to fight Dracula with his bare hands. He's spews awesome. So I put him in here. So let's move along. I'm gonna try to keep these in order. So Code Vein is a vampire game. It's specifically an anime-based Souls-like vampire game. You can't have a vampire game without Vampire D or Vampire Hunter D. If you don't know who this is, that's okay. You're probably under 20. But yeah, just he's a vampire and he's anime as hell. So yeah, I put him in here. At least my closest my interpretation of the character at least. Okay, so I covered my 3 vampires. I covered Hellsing, of course. I'm gonna shift down here. So okay, so we move on to Kingdom Hearts. This is a custom Riku that I made from Kingdom Hearts 1. He's very, excuse me, I was very particular with the way I threw this together. I of course did research, went on Google. I always do that because before I try to pioneer or go in depth with creating a character, I have to make sure that I'm not ripping off or copying anyone else's work. So this is my end result. I made Riku from Kingdom Hearts 1 from scratch, and it's pretty freaking accurate. Um, I didn't have too many issues with this build here, with specifically putting it together. The face, you'll notice that the style of the face is very specific, art wise or stylistically, and because they're based on 3D models, not cell shaded characters. So I had to, do some gradient, some makeup work here. And of course, if I have Kingdom Hearts 1 Riku, I have Kingdom Hearts 3 Riku too. I like Kingdom Hearts 3 Riku's design. I think it's odd. Very, very unique design. It reminds me actually of the way Sora looks. And either 3 or 4, both 3 and 4 look similar to me. But he looks very similar to Sora from specifically part 4, which I'll go more in depth. But yeah, this is Riku from Kingdom Hearts 3, custom made, pretty one of a kind. I did a Google search and somebody made a Riku already, but it's not my Riku. So here's the comparison that I wanted to show too. So here's Kingdom Hearts 4. Excuse me. This is Kingdom Hearts 4 Sora. And as you can see, he looks similar to Riku. He's just not as buff. His face is a little more girly. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts 4 Riku looks suspiciously similar to the way Riku looks, and that character from Virum Rex. I'm not gonna delve into that. But yeah, these designs are getting very similar in Kingdom Hearts to me. Something about the short hair. But I'm not gonna delve too deep into that. But yeah, this is my Sora from Kingdom Hearts 4. His design, and this is of course Vanitas, which is pretty much the same as Sora. He's just very minor tweaks. His outfit, his hair color, things like that. His face has been tweaked very slightly to mimic, Kingdom Hearts 3 instead of his design here in 4, which is very subtle differences, but they mean the world because if you screen arch, they mean the world up close when you're seeing the character, specifically their bust. So I'm gonna move on to the next set here. We have Guts. This is Guts from Berserk. I always put Guts in everything. Anything in every game that has anime and or rips off Berserk, references Berserk pretty much. This is a Souls-like game. If you're not familiar with Dark Souls is Berserk. It pays heavy homage. It's like a fan letter to Berserk. So yeah, I put Young Guts in here. This is post Eclipse Guts. This is specifically right after he loses his eye and gets his arm torn off and gets his metal arm. This is his design or what he wore following that event. You'll notice he's not wearing his cape. I don't have any accessory mods. I might look into it in a second here to unlimit the amount of accessories you can have. But also, what makes this design or this setup for the cosplay so cool is this game has what's called veils, which is basically just coats that your character put on. And there's a specific veil in game that looks spot on to Guts' cape. So I don't mind walking around with the character without a cape for a little bit. Last but not least, for my set of Guts, of course, I call this concurrent Guts or modern Guts. This is basically what Guts looks like when Miura or Dr. Kentaro Miura died. This is where he died at for design wise. This is Guts after he got specifically after he used the black berserker armor. You notice the white hair or the white bang on his hair. That's because he was startled. He had an intense moment of fear or shock when he had the armor on, and it turned his hair white. So that's a dead giveaway for usually for what type of Guts this is. So yeah, this is post berserker armor. Um, Missing arm, missing eye, just like the previous version, but his armor is pitch black with the brown belts and etc. And again, the veil in game it looks a lot better with the veil. Yes, I have mods for capes, but it's not necessary for this character specifically. So I'm gonna move along here. Okay, this is Casca. This is pre-Eclipse Casca. This is basically her in the Band of the Hawk when she was a soldier for the Band of the Hawk, or you can say when she was the captain of the Band of the Hawk. This is her design. It's it's just Casca with short hair. Then I have what's called Crazy Casca, which is post um, eclipse Casca. This is basically a form of her when she loses her mind. She's, by the way, so beautiful. She looks so sexy in this game, dude. It's so cool. And she's fun to play with as like a pro tag character. Don't let it fool you. I know she looks kind of like no, like she's lacking or like she's scarce in articulation, but she looks amazing in game. And yes, I do play with her. Next up is Harley Quinn. Her bat is modded in the game, by the way, as a weapon. But yeah, this is Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad or Margot Robbie. I specifically tweaked the face, makeup, shading wise, and stuff like that to, you know, to avoid the cell shading, and of course to mimic her tattoos that she has in the movie. I changed her body scale. There's a certain weight you have to put her at because Margot Robbie's not, Margot Robbie's fit. So yeah, but this is Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad, the movie. Next up is Quiet. This is Quiet from Metal Gear Solid 5, I believe. And Quiet is she stands out. She's a very specific design. She actually fits the game pretty well, given if you give her a gun, she could be a gun type character. And needless to say, she has a very cute, very sexy design too. So I don't know. I just made her because I'd play with her. Vash the Stampede. This is Vash the Stampede from Trigun. If you don't know Vash the Stampede, if you don't know Trigun, then you don't really know anime. But he's a really cool character. He fits this game so well. He looks so good in game, dude. He's of course gonna be a gun type character, and it's Vash, man. Vash equals cool. So we're gonna move on here. Start trying to keep track of what I did here. All right, next row. All right, so moving on to Final Fantasy. This is Vincent from Final Fantasy 7. Can't remember the year Final Fantasy 7 was released. It was either 1995 or 1997. One of those years. I can't remember. It's been so long. But yeah, this is default or OG Vincent. You'll notice he's not wearing his red cowl and cape that he normally does. That's specifically for when I want to mix up veils and stuff like that. Again, there's a red veil in game that looks awesome. And then of course I made a secondary version that just has the cape on um, for when I don't feel like mixing up veils. And yeah, Vincent from Final Fantasy 7, the specifically PS1 game released in '95 or '97. And then this is the Turk version of him. Vincent used to be a Turk, so yeah, I just put him in the suit. So moving along. Oh, and also aside from the original OG PS1 version of Vincent, I actually made an Advent Children variation of the character. As you can see, he's wildly different looking because he looks different in Advent Children. He looks more like a corpse. And of course, I have the variation without the cape and the cowl. And then I made another variation that actually has his cape, which again, it looks wildly different from the original version of him. As you can see here, it's a lot more tattered, a little more detailed. But yeah, Advent Children Vincent. And then of course I made a Turk version. I don't think they've ever shown him as a Turk in Advent Children, but this is what I think he would look like. It's not it's not cut and dry. It's not a mimic of the previous Turk version. As you can see here, his hair is wildly different from the other version, and he's a lot darker looking too, more modern feeling. I just think this is what he would look like in a remake. So yeah, let's move on here. Oh, Cloud. So I have Cloud Strife. This is OG Cloud from the original. You'll notice his pauldron on his shoulder, custom made. It has the screws, the two bolts or screws jutting out of them. He has a special type of hairstyle that just Jesus. It's so on point with more lines with Advent Children or more modern version of Cloud's hair, but this is on point. And then of course I made an alternate variation, which is Advent Children Cloud. You'll immediately notice the differences in the face. The OG or the PS1 version, he has an anime face. If you really look at it, it's very cartoony. And then for the Advent Children version, it's hyper realistic. Like when you get close to this face, it's pretty nuts how detailed and realistic it looks. And also you'll notice his armor, this I've seen a lot of cosplay builds of this character all over the internet, and people can't figure out for the life of me how to get his armor proper. It's really not that tough. It's already set up for you. His outfit is just blue with a system of belts. The belts are already in place. You don't have to do any finagling or trickery for the belts. The only thing that really stands out that you'll have to figure out is, of course, his black shoulder pad, which as you can see here, I pulled off swimmingly. It's all there. This is actually, if you really look at it, it's a mirror image of what the character looks like by default. Cloud's original design, his shoulder pad is actually on his right shoulder. As you can see here, I just flipped it to match the belt because that strap going vertically, or rather diagonally across his chest, is actually spot on to the way his original costume design is. It's just mirrored. So I don't know. I always found that nuts. And of course, I put a ribbon on his arm because he wears a ribbon. The movie Advent Children is about geostigma. So I'm gonna try to nerd out too much, but yeah, the armor's not as tough as people make it seem. Let's move over here. So we did Cloud, Sephiroth. So this is original Sephiroth. This is from the 95 or 97 PS1 release game. Very anime style. If you look at his face there, he's this is specifically the last time you see him. He's shirtless when you see him. He has a very specific, easy to make design, as you obviously. And this is what I came up with. And then of course I made an Advent Children variation. Yeah, if you look at his face, the face is wildly different. Just like a lot of makeup work here. You have to really play with these gradients and the face details and scars and makeups and stuff like that to get you can get some crazy results in my opinion. Well, I'm practicing what I preach here. You can see it for yourself. It's pretty nuts, man. It's especially in game when up close. It looks pretty much it's identical to him. Had to do some trickery for his hair. You'll notice his I don't know what people who aren't black call it, but his lineup or his taper for his specifically the forehead of his hair. I had to do some trickery here with the texturing to get it to look like actual hair. But as you can see, the end result is you can make a pretty accurate Sephiroth for the people out there who want one. I showed it to you. Oh, and of course Kadaj. I put Kadaj in here because his Soba or his he has a katana with two parallel blades on it. It's a very unique katana design I've never seen anywhere else, and it's called the Soba, and it's a mod in this game. So I figured I have his katana, I have Cloud's Buster Sword, the remake one specifically, and I have Sephiroth's Mass Immune. So why not put the character for the Soul in here too? Plus Kadaj is pretty cool. I think Kadaj, Lowe's, and Yazoo, those are his brothers. They're pretty iconic characters. I don't understand like why they're not as popular. I think they should be more popular. They're very cool designs. So moving along here, we have 2B. This is actually a mod. It's just a hair, a mask, and a costume mod that's in the game. Yes, I have all of her weapons: Virtuous Contract, Treaty, Beast Lord. All that stuff is modded in here. I have a plethora of weapon mods, including Nier. So she blends pretty well when I want to play with her. I specifically chose a version of her that doesn't have a skirt on because the default version of her that does have a skirt doesn't have physics on a skirt, and I wild out when I don't see proper physics on certain things. Like for instance, this game by default, you guys know this, when on 30 FPS breast move, it has like jiggle physics, right? So it'll look weird if she has like cardboard or a stiff skirt. It just I don't know. That always jarred me about certain things. So move along here is Mako or but specifically the guard from Prison School. Prison School is just an anime. It's just a big booby white hair anime waifu, and I just designed her because her clothing was modded in this game. I just happened to have her clothing in this game, so I just made her character. Plus, she looks cool. So let's move on here. I think I covered everyone. Wow, pretty sure I just covered all of my characters. Yeah, I'm just going through here, make sure I didn't skip anything. Yeah, that's all of my characters. So yeah, these have been my code vein builds that I made from scratch. They're all pretty epic, and hopefully you agree they're super accurate. I'm currently on the hunt. I want to find a mod, an accessory mod, and if I have to use like a code, a cheat table to unlock the accessories, I will do it. It's very important that I have that freedom. I forget why they limit the accessories. I think it's the physics or the havoc of the physics can kill your FPS or something like that, but it doesn't matter. My computer's pretty good. So yeah, here's all my cosplays. Feel free, to if you're capable of doing so, to re-customize and create these characters that I've just shown you for your game. And yeah, just have fun. All right, God bless.